We are an extremely small school. We're from a very small community. And again, I teach agriculture, grades 9 through 12. Our grant is called Growing Success on the Creek. So the problem that we have identified is that runoff has been an issue in agriculture for a very long time. And runoff happens whenever a farmer goes out, decides he's going to spray his field, whether it be with fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, and then it rains. And that rain simply runs whatever he sprayed out into the creek, and then it infects the creek and the waterways. It can cause issues for fish life, and if you look at history, back when DDT was prevalent, it caused major issues with our bald eagle population. So we want to try to prevent that. A solution that we came up with is hydroponics or an aquaponics type system. And the reason we use that, or decided to use that, is because all the water that goes into the system stays in the system and never leaves. It never has a chance to get back into the ground, run off into the waterways. So whatever fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides that we use there will always be in that system. Another reason we chose to do aquaponics or hydroponics is because it could be a very small system, and we kind of teach students that you don't have to have a whole lot of land to be able to produce, for example, tomatoes, any kind of fruit or vegetable production on a very small scale. You could use a very small area and still produce quite a bit of food. As far as implementation goes, the students are going to be taking control of everything that goes on. They're going to be putting it together. They're going to be tracking all of the data that goes into this system. So if we have 5 fish in the tank, they're going to know that they have 5 fish. If one dies, then we get to try to discover what happened. They're going to have to learn how to test the water. Is their nitrogen levels efficient? Is the potassium levels efficient? Or macronutrients where they need to be? Okay. Just to kind of give you an idea of how this system works, I give you a little handout here. At the bottom, we have a fish reservoir. Inside this system, the fish will slowly secrete their waste, which has all the nutrients that the plant needs. It'll be collected on the bottom, pumped back into the top. Whenever it dumps out onto the plants absorb all of that nutrients. Once they absorb the nutrients, it kind of filters the water for the fish. The water is then transported back down into the fish tank. The fish get what they need. The plants get what they need. All we have to do is make sure the fish are healthy and the plants are healthy, and that's where our students come in. At the end, we're going to know we're successful by how much we get to produce. So at the end of it, hopefully we have a big bunch of tomatoes that the students will get to collect, take home, or hopefully we'll get to donate some of those foods to our cafeteria. That way all of our students in the school will be able to enjoy fresh produce. As far as the fish go, let's not forget about them. They're going to be growing the entire time that the plants are. At the end, we'll get to harvest the fish as well, and at the end of the year we can fry them up, cut the tomatoes up, and have a little fish sandwich. But that's what our grant's all about. Any questions?
So we've thought about doing this at Hike with the aquaponics before, but we could never figure out how we were going to handle like Christmas break or different things like that. So how did you figure that out?
As an ag teacher, I'll be in the building anyway throughout that process, and I have a lot of FFA members that are also in these classes, and so I'll be bringing them in over Christmas break to help with what's called SAEs. It's a supervised ag experience, so they'll get to come in for credit to be able to do that program, and then I'll get credit for it, and it just kind of fits perfectly for what I do through the program and FFA as well as the classroom. Yes. Yep.
I've seen those before.
Yeah.
I was wondering.
It'll most likely, I've seen a lot of like plastic containers, like those big blue barrels you're talking about. And we're going to be using tilapia, and tilapia is a pretty generally hardy fish anyway. And so they're not going to be bothered by living around in there. We just got to be careful about how many we put in there, depending on how big it is, because we don't want to over-nutrate the water. So, but the kids are going to have to be able to test the water and things of that nature. So. I don't know yet. Any questions?